Howdy. I know it's Sunday, September 3rd, and normally I do these podcasts and, me kind of going over everything Saturday. But I'm going to be honest. I was beyond exhausted after trying the reprise raid for Crota's Inn. Especially after, sitting there and trying and trying and trying and trying. Did we get it? No. Yeah, it's fine. It is what it is. I'm not 100% worried about it. Because at the end of the day, I knew what I was getting into. It was a day one price rate. It was gonna be a heck of a lot harder than normal. So at the end of the day, I can say, hey, I tried. I got where I got. Now we go back and do it on normal. Get the clear. Everything. We'll dive into that here in a little bit. First, let's go ahead and dive into a couple things that I've been noticing out on Twitter. The news and everything else. If you're not paying attention to what your government's doing, you're blind. If you're not paying attention to what elected officials are doing what and where and why they're doing it, you need to start calling them out on it. Because I'm that type of person. If I see something, I'm calling your office and I'm gonna request to speak to you personally. I'm not gonna sit there and leave a message or anything. Now I get if it's like the governor of a state or sitting senator of a very large area. I get it's gonna take a little bit of time, but in the end, I'm going to convey my message to you one way or another. Whether that's sending 100 to 1,000 emails with the same format and everything else, or you put me on a block list because you don't like the context of how the wording of the email is. And if that's the case, then I'm sorry, Cupcake, you were in the wrong profession. Go back to the whole fires of Maui and everything else. What, 2 weeks for Biden to come by? Dude, come on. And then he didn't even take it serious, and as soon as he was done with his trip, he went back on the freaking vacation. Like, dude, you got a country to lead. Just had a natural disaster over in Hawaii. Possibly from direct energy weapons. I don't know. Who knows? You got a hurricane that hit California, along with a earthquake at the same time. And then you got a hurricane that tore off the east coast of the U.S. And you go right back to vacation. Damn, I wish I had that luxury. And still get paid close to $500,000 a year. Oh, that's not including all the breaks and everything else that they get. But hey, it is what it is. I'm just looking forward to how this this election, everything else is going, and all the other crap that's happening. Like for example, there is a representative in my area. I've never liked what she's done, and she's running for mayor, and I'm like, nope. And if they come by my house, I'm like, you do realize I'm not within the city limits, right? Because the way that the main city and everything else is, it's one of those things where we're zoned to a specific area, and we're not within the city. The city actually, it's I like the way it's done, and for all that other crap that's going on, I'm glad that we're not hit by city taxes or any of the other crap like that. Or stuff like stuff of that nature. Because if that was the case, I'd be like, nope, we're moving. Excuse me. Speaking of taxes, explain to me why that's the one thing that's not taught to us, and yet we have to figure it out as we go, or we get arrested. Like if the Internal Revenue System, i.e., the IRS, knows exactly how much we have to pay in taxes or how much we have to owe in taxes, and we get it wrong and we get arrested, or we get audited, there should be something, that kind of exists in a manner to where this can be avoided. Oh, I know. How about getting rid of the IRS? Not saying not pay taxes or, something like that, or just send us a letter. Hey, you owe this much. Writes a check. You are good to go. I mean, that'd be the way I'd do it. Not this go through Intuit, TurboTax, or all this other crap and everything else and blah 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 blah. Because I'm gonna tell you straightforward, people gonna get pissed, and you're gonna realize, oh, that didn't go how we thought. We planned for this, but we didn't account for this. Yeah. um, there's an account on Twitter, and I love it because they'll troll just about anybody. And I'm actually a part of their library of content creators and library of streamers. Get Wet Sports. They are making Des Bryant's mentality and his mental state questionable because he's sitting there yelling on Twitter via full caps is how we quote unquote identify as yelling and all the other stuff. It's actually quite hysterical. um, but I'm like, you are a former professional ball player, and yet you're getting trolled by a Twitter account because you don't understand. Take off the caps locks. Pretty damn simple, if you ask me. Excuse me. Gotta love allergies and back to school germs and all the other crap. Yay. Uh, Doing something simple leads me to the next point. Doing too much on your streams and what you do might work at first, but in the end, you might realize, oh, I had too much on the screen and not enough gameplay, or I have all this other crap going on in the background and now my eyes are shot and all the other crap. Or people are like, why are you using 30,000 filters on your camera? Like I'm watching a homie right now. She has something pretty damn simple with her overlay. She has two different emotes that she has on her channel. And I mod for her, by the way. Um, and I've been a really good friend friend of hers for shit. Coming upon like 5+ years now, 4 or 5 years. But she has one emote where it's not talking, and then it goes to another emote whenever she is talking, and it's just simple. There's no extravagant BS or anything like that. Like the animated overlay, if you're watching on YouTube and Rumble, it's just simple. It just starts up at the top middle, comes down, says the name. Right, the red's on one side, the blue's on the other, and as soon as it meets in the middle, kind of like bleeds over to the opposite side, and then goes right back. It's simple. simple but yet effective because you're able to see it in the context as what it's doing. But yet, I see people that want to sit there and try to make a small ass room into like a movie production studio, and I'm like, that's not gonna work. In the long run, that is not gonna work. So what do? They spend $30,000 to $40,000 gutting out multiple rooms, and they're like, oh, I need help catching up on all the bills because I got to lean on the place. And then you start questioning yourself. Did I do the right thing? Am I doing this? Blah 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 blah. Because when you do too much, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. I'll be honest, if I'm coming to your stream and I see lights flashing all over the place and everything else, or if I'm watching a video and I see stuff going off and it's constant instead of just that brief window, I'm bouncing out. That's your content, that's how you want to do it, but you got to think of those that might have epileptic seizures or, something of that nature. Because if they come in and they have a seizure watching your stream, you don't have a seizure warning or flashing lights might be relevant or something like that. I would tell you, but they could say, hey, you didn't warn me in advance. You don't have a label on your stream that says warning, flashing lights occur at random times or something like this or all this other crap. Because whenever you're going and watching a movie theater or you're playing a game, they have that little window that says some users may experience discomfort due to flashing signals and flashing lights. But if you don't have that and somebody's sitting there like watching and they gotta look away and it's going content, they can't enjoy the content. You're doing a disservice to them. I'll be the last one to try to tell you how to run your stream. But think about everybody else within your channel or that random viewer that might be your number one contributor towards your growth and success that you're doing a disservice to. Doing too much might work at first, but it could harm in the future. Now, let's say, it's working fine and you've adjusted things where people don't have, issues watching. Cool, continue doing it. Get noticed out there. Do your thing. But with the amount of time that I've been doing live streaming and content creation and all the other stuff, I've seen time and time and time and time and time and time and time again where it hurts the creator more than anything else. Because whenever you sit there and you play a game like within Destiny, for example, there are a lot of flashing sequences in that game. And oh my god, if you are not careful, you will develop a migraine, or even worse, if you're susceptible to that, you don't turn the filter on, and they do have accessibility filters in there too. You don't turn that crap on, you're gonna harm yourself. And it's not just Destiny or Bungie's games. It's all of them. Escape from Tarkov. It's one of the hardest games. It's a hardcore looter shooter. They have flashbangs. I mean, it's pretty simple to tell. Oh, flashbangs. I'm gonna get a headache. I need to turn this thing kind of down. Pretty simple. Long story short, just be mindful of your audience. All right. I personally cannot believe I got to say this. Like, I can't. And I'm not going to play the clip on Twitter because of the context of what it is. Pronouns in games. It doesn't affect my notion on playing the game whatsoever. I skip right over it because I'm old school. I don't have the whole pronoun ideology, directed towards me. However, I've said in the past, we have pronouns. Let me know what they are, so that I can correctly use them for you. I've messed up. I've mispronounced somebody, and they've let me know, and I've told them, hey, I'm sorry. If I do it again, just let me know. I'm human. I make mistakes. But for somebody to go off on a company when it's a 2-second skip screen, such as Bethesda on Starfield, and I am talking about Hills versus Babyface. Dude, bro, come on. You're a grown ass adult and you are triggered by pronouns and the ability to select them in a game. I'm sorry, but if that's the case, uninstall your game, sell your PC, and do not ever touch another video game ever again. Yes, I seen your rant. You make no sense of it whatsoever. All because of a screen that you can skip. And if it's not skippable, select what you don't care and move on. Like, seriously. If you're that weak minded and offended about a company trying to be inclusive of everybody, and it's not this California BS little thing that you're trying to go on, because at the end of the day, over in the UK, I want to tell you something, okay? I hope you do actually pay attention and listen to this. Pronouns and people using them and what they identify with are everywhere. Everywhere. How people identify themselves, whether they use pronouns or not, every single person has something they identify with. For example, I'm a Marine. I served my country and I earned the title. I identify as a Marine veteran. Are those my pronouns? No. But if you want to use them to get my attention, go right ahead. Because at the end of the day, I do not have pronouns that I identify. Call me whatever you want. If you get my attention, that's what you can call me. I do not care. Now, if you call me something offensive, then we're going to have an issue. But if or when I get Starfield and I come to this screen, like, okay, click, move on. It does not affect me or my ability to play any type of game what so freaking ever. It will never affect me to play the game. And here's another thing that I'm going to talk about on it real quick. If you're so butthurt about pronouns in games, especially on RPGs, What's the first screen you come to after giving your character a name, or in general, male or female? And now they have in some games they have non-binary or unisex or something like that. But whenever it comes to how RPGs, especially MMORPGs, you gotta select something your character identifies as. So you getting pissed off and butthurt about pronouns, but you have to select what your character is. You just flawed your own logic. I don't get it. I do not get it. Like, if it's that, like, again, if it's that big of a deal, just don't play the damn game. I'll just send your refund in and just move on. Pretty simple, if you ask me. Like, I'm not even joking. It's really, really simple, if you ask me. And again, it's never gonna be a make or break thing for me. I don't care about it. It's one of those things, like, it has no effect on me whatsoever. All right, I mentioned this at the start, and this is gonna be the biggest of this. The Crota's End Reprised raid and World's First. I'm gonna touch on the Crota's End raid first, and then I'm gonna touch on the World's First. Actually, no. Let's touch on World's First, and then Crota's End, because I don't want that to be the turning point of what I talk about. So Friday we had the launch of the Crota's End Reprised raid, and everybody thought, oh well, this is just a public event, in raid format. It gonna be easy. No, no longer than 30 to an hour. Took the world's first team a little over 7 hours to complete, if I am not mistaken. If I am not mistaken, it took world's first team. It was also world's first for King's 12 Reprise raid, Vow the Disciple world's first, and Vault the Glass Reprise raid. No, I'm sorry. I don't like. Here's my issue. Their checkpoint clear, which means they loaded in on a checkpoint. And after that, my guess would be probably on that second encounter. Took them an hour and 4 minutes. And then before that, hour and 29 minutes. Like, if you're going through and you're gonna sit there and talk crap to other people about, oh, I'm world's first on here, but you have the gall to sit there and get inside information on the raids to assist you. I do not feel you should ever have another belt. Because at the end of the day, with the people you pissed off on the way you talk down to others, you should not ever have inside information ever again. This goes out to all the other top, raid teams. And I'm gonna make this extremely, extremely clear as possible. Every raid that I've ever done for the first time, I have gone in blind. Meaning, I have no knowledge. I've seen no videos. I know no mechanics. And I tell my team, I don't want to know anything until we get to the part and we wipe. So I understand what we do. Go into the raid blind, which do not rely on your inside information, i.e., your people leaking crap to your community. Because somebody at that company is working hard to ensure it's in quotations fair for everyone. But if it takes you 3 hours to complete a reprised raid and it was taking everybody else, 12 plus, there's something that's questionable there. And I'm not talking about, the top people. I'm talking about experienced raiders who know what they're doing, who understand mechanics, who understand the severity and how hard this is. But if you're clearing it in sub 3 hours, you have inside information that only the devs would be able to give you. That's the only way in hell it would happen. I'm I'm not even joking. That is legitimately the only way in hell that would happen. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever on how people I know who are better at the game than I am couldn't get the contest. They couldn't get the contest clear, let alone go for challenge. It makes little sense. Now, speaking on Crota's end, there are people that were like, "Oh, it's just it's quick and simple, in and out, very, very, very quick and easy." Yeah, that's not the case. That is not the case. It's disheartening to see people who put so much time and effort into preparation and everything else, and then they just hit a freaking wall within it. And again, I'm sorry I am clearing my throat so much and all the other crap, but back to school germs, gotta love it. But it breaks my heart when I see so much prep work, so much time, effort, and energy pumped into prep work, pumped into trying to get everything going on and trying to complete an objective. And you're going for 24, 36, 40 plus hours, and you just continue to hit that wall. You're doing everything correct, and the game will still screw you over. And there, like I've seen it time and time and time and time and time and time again with Bungie in their raids and their contest mode. Teams will clear it, but it doesn't give them the challenge completion, like the triumph completion and everything else. Because there's no Q&A, there's no QC, there's no bug check or anything like that when y'all launch them. And you could say there is, but there's not. And there's so much evidence to show that there's not, because if there was, you would have delayed it another week, and you would have allowed people to actually have a little bit more prep time. Because at the end of the day, we know contest is challenging. We know it's hard as hell. But whenever the game still screws you over with bugs and disconnects, I can't believe this. They were on a boss. I've seen a team with people that I know very, very well. They were on a boss, and the game sent them all back to orbit. Separated them from their fire teams. And sent them back to orbit. That should not happen. And yet, I can speak firsthand, because that crap happened to me the previous raid, the most recent new raid, Root of Nightmares. That happened to me and at least one person of my fire team going for our day one clear numerous times. We were able to come back in and get our clear. Thank you to some really damn good people that helped us out. But aside from that, that should not freaking happen. Now, moving on to the game of Destiny. There are people, or I got some homies who just got the game, or re-downloaded it or whatever, and I told them, I'll be helping them out the following Saturday, because by the end of this coming Friday, which will be ironic, September 8th, which marks 17 years since I graduated boot camp from Marine Corps Recruit Depot Training, MCRD, San Diego, February 2006. Where I earned the title Marine. After that day, I will be down to help people out with what they need help with on Destiny. The game will be thrown back into rotation, but my primary focus will be on Armored Core 6. I'm still not streaming Tarkov until certain things are resolved and everything else. I am playing it offline though, which means off stream. But aside from that, there's really not much that that I have going in the way of things. On Satisfactory, I have the dedicated server going on. Information is in the Discord. Same thing with Farming Sim 22. I have a dedicated server on that too. I want to make things as inclusive for people as possible, as seamless and as easy as possible. Because the more that people can game together, the more that people feel included in things, the better the overall community of gaming can be. And this is not just, the Destiny versus Tarkov versus Rainbow Six versus this versus this. No. I'm talking about the entire scope of the gaming community. Now, with that, I know there's a side of it that's elitist and toxic. I'm sorry, but within Destiny, they have some of the most elitist assholes that I've ever seen. Case in point, Salta Greppo. I'm gonna call his fucking name out. I don't care. Yeah, you might be a four-time world's first champion. However, the way, and this is what I was talking about earlier, the way that you talk to people and the way you talk down to people doesn't sit well with a lot of others. You're sitting there saying, nerf this weapon, nerf this ability. Oh, this class absolutely sucks and everything else. And you feel like warlocks don't have a place within the game. However, I argue that you would have not gotten any of your worlds first had you not had a warlock with a well. And if you say, "Oh no, I would have gotten it," okay, contact the devs, have them reset everything for your 4 titles, and you run it without a well lock on contest mode with no information given to you whatsoever. As I went back and I watched, one of the VODs that you were in somebody's Discord with, and how you were talking about time on spawning and everything else. I'm like, only somebody who knows something of the inside of the programming would be able to call it out so precise. But anyways, when you sit there and say, I absolutely cannot stand Warlock, they don't belong in the game, blah 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 blah, you're doing a disservice to the rest of the people within your clan and your team around you that run that class and everything else. I main Hunter because it feels the most fluid for me. I play a certain style because it feels fluid for me. I'm not sitting there trying to figure stuff out on the fly or any other crap with how my character or how my hunter feels or anything like that. It just feels extremely fluid for me. But I digress. Oh, if you haven't if you haven't been paying attention to the gaming sphere, start paying attention. I got a feeling um, after this what winter things might be picking up because you got Escape from Tarkov that's going to be coming out of its quote unquote beta phase. I don't think it'll ever fully come out of its beta phase. You got that coming out. Um, you got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, which drops in 2 months. I'm not gonna buy it unless it's on Game Pass this way. If I don't like it, I could just. You got a couple other ARPGs that are coming out. And Final Shape in February. I got hope for some good stuff. We'll just see how things go. But y'all need I would argue start paying attention to the gaming sphere once again. And I'm almost certain, we'll have another raid once the next season of Destiny drops, and I'm gonna try again to go for a day one clear. Maybe push the podcast off a week. Who knows? I can tell you, I am exhausted. If you can't hear it in my voice, but you can see it on my face, I am exhausted. That's why I didn't have a whole lot to cover, and that's why I didn't have anybody as a guest. That'll be next week, because I should be, reinvigorated, rested, and good to go. Till then, you guys be awesome. I'll catch y'all next time.